Nobody knows what magnets are, and not overly sophisticated, but to build a magnet system would take 2 years.
The government is open, Andy.
Not open yet. It's going to be open in, I think Wednesday is when it could possibly be open again
Okay.
because the Senate is still voting tonight on
I
different
know it
stuff. And
passed.
did it finally pass?
It passed, yeah.
How long was it within the last like 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, because so did you see any of the weird sneaky stuff that people were sneaking into it?
No, wait a second. Yeah, I mean, I better double check because I saw like headlines.
Yeah, I know that just a little bit ago, Rand Paul was speaking on the floor. So they turned it into a minibus, and we're going to talk about in a second about whether or not the Dems caved or if this is smart strategically. But what's happening though is they're turning it into what they call a minibus, where they're cramming like three bills along with the continuing resolution. And anytime that happens, you know that like certain people are going to try to slide a couple of their little pet projects in with these three bills.
Yeah.
There's a couple. None of them are urgently bad, except for one that Rand Paul said. I do have a clip. I was going to save this for later, but check
Oh.
this out real quick. This is Rand Paul tonight on the Senate floor.
Instead of a clean CR, this bill contains language that has been airdropped in that will destroy hemp farming in Kentucky and across the United States. Tucked away on page 163, Title 7, Division B of this spending package is a provision that will shut down the hemp industry across the United States. My amendment would strip the provision designed to regulate the hemp industry to death. The bill, as it now stands, overrides the regulatory frameworks of several states, cancels the collective decisions of hemp consumers, and destroys the livelihoods of hemp farmers.
Who's trying to destroy him?
So I don't. Everybody was speculating online, and this is one of those weird circumstances where, like, we haven't seen the bill yet. Like, what's being debated by them, I don't think is public yet. So,
Okay.
and I got people are guessing online, and I don't want to say stuff that I'm not educated about. But like, does hemp mean recreational marijuana, medical marijuana?
No,
Doesn't at all.
no,
So
hemp is totally different.
that's what people are very afraid of online right now is that they're using the word hemp, but they're gonna, if this passes the way that it's written, they will then be able to apply it to anything derived from hemp.
Oh, maybe.
That's what people are worried about. Again, I'm
Yeah, but
causing.
Kentucky has a whole industry of just hemp farms. Like they're not budding, they're not flowering, they don't produce any marijuana, they're just hemp.
Well, again, if they, it's a matter of how it's worded. People, that's apparently the couple times people have tried to ban hemp in the U.S. It's
Mm.
always not gotten through because the wording leaves it to where it's kind of open to say, well, any product derived from hemp, THC is derived from hemp, therefore
Do you know
anybody.
the history of marijuana and hemp?
I don't.
So,
Teach me.
I'm gonna mess this up because it's been a long time since I've heard this,
Okay.
but the the guy who owned the printing
Okay.
press,
I think I might have heard this, but keep going.
yeah, he was also a paper manufacturer, and they used every paper, all paper was made out of hemp back in the day, but he realized that he could make a lot more money by getting rid of hemp and using tree paper.
Okay.
And so he started, and it's somebody super famous, somebody we would know, like Rockefeller or
Yeah, I was
something
gonna say
along those lines.
Rockefellers.
Yeah,
Sounds
and
right.
and he started putting out those pamphlets, and they called it marijuana, and they had like all these like pretty derogatory towards Mexicans, like
Yeah.
Mexican smoking weed and like going crazy, and like they just banned marijuana completely after
You
that.
know, the film Reefer Madness, I've never seen the whole thing, but I've seen clips from it, and it seems racist as hell. And it's like if from the clips I've seen, it's been a while, but it's like, oh, like if you're a white woman and you try just one hit of reefer, like you'll fall in love with the blacks, or it's something like that. It's like,
Oh,
what the heck? Like, anyhow, one day me and you need to sit down and watch Reefer Madness.
yeah,
I'm gonna see if
probably.
I can get my hands on a copy of that. So
I bet it'd be
yeah.
pretty easy. Huh.
So anyhow, Johnson said that he plans to have a vote in the House on Wednesday. After again, hey, what's funny is like Sunday they were like, all right, call everybody back, and he was like, it's gonna take a couple days for everybody to get back. Like he said, he gave him a 36-hour notice, and that they
He's just
basically.
pushing off
So
the to introduce what's her name into the
I
house.
I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but he said today he was asked about it, and he said he plans to swear Grijalva is her name. Grijalva said he plans to swear her in just before the House reopens. So, I, awesome if he does, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that one.
So they finally destroyed all the Epstein files.
Yeah, he had to buy some time for them to get rid of everything or keep redacting Trump's name out of everything. So anyhow, let's see if that happens or not. I was shocked when I heard him say that.
Okay. What's been making me the maddest about this was he's taking a victory lap.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of hysterical because every time we have a shutdown, every time but one that we've had a shutdown, it's been the Republicans shutting down the government. And it's funny because like everything that the Republicans are saying right now is the standard stuff the Democrats said every other shutdown and vice versa on the other side. So they basically just switched roles. And he's like, I can't believe anybody would try to shut down the government to try to get policy done. And it's like, dude, Republicans do that like roughly every 4 years. Like, but
Yeah.
anyhow, both sides are hypocritical and it's funny. On the shutdown ending, what are your thoughts on, is this a cave? Are you mad at Democrats for caving? Okay,
Yeah.
let me hear it. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah. So what were the Democrats looking for out of this?
They
Like, why
said,
did we keep the government shut down?
okay, do you want to know what they said was the reason or what
Well,
I think they were really trying to
It
do?
started off with several reasons, and they held on one specific issue with it, which was the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, right?
Yeah, extending the ACA subsidies.
Yes. And every Democrat said, we're not doing anything without a promise to keep the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act in place.
To extend them. They wanted the extension of them to be part of the CR.
Yep.
Okay.
And we didn't get that.
They did not get that. Now, I also, and just the way I negotiate, the way I feel like a lot of people negotiate is you start at one place and then you have your place that you're willing to settle on. Is that how you would see most negotiations?
That's how negotiations work, yeah.
So their big ask was they have to be extended. Did they really think they were going? I think they're fools if they thought that they were really going to get that. Now I think
I think the Democrats were winning on this. I think their messaging was better. The Republicans looked worse. It was the Republicans 100%'s fault in the eyes of most Americans.
You just said they were winning, implying that they're not winning anymore, right?
Now they lost. Yeah, they lost.
Okay. Can I tell you why I think that they won the shutdown?
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay. This is a bad analogy, but every now and then there'll be like a trade in sports, in the NFL or in baseball, and everybody's like, oh my God, they got hosed. I can't believe they gave up this one player for a couple picks. And then 3 or 4 years later, you realize, oh, the other team actually got the better end of that deal. Like we didn't see it at the time, but I think this is one of those deals, but it's only going to take about 6 to 8 weeks for us to truly see who won the shutdown. Hear me out on this. And I got notes. So if you see me reading, these are my notes. I've been thinking about this all day. First of all, this is a dumb one, but you kept the Republicans off the House floor for 6 or 7 weeks.
Okay.
Only harm can happen when they're on the House floor. So we stopped any MAGA things from getting done for 6 or 7 weeks.
We could have kept it going.
We could have kept it going, but that's not bad there. We major sweep in the off-year elections. I think we can both agree that the major sweep in the elections last week were because of fighting at least a part of it was because of the shutdown and the fact they were fighting, right?
I think maybe a little bit. Well, that's a tiny percentage.
Okay. What was the one thing that in your mind made the Democrats cave? I think there were two major things, but what are one or two of those?
I think the SNAP benefits is the major one.
So, as part of one of these mini buses, one of these mini bus bills that's getting signed off on with this continuing resolution, is that they're guaranteeing SNAP is going to be funded through fiscal year 2026. So, for the next 13 months, SNAP, basically, Trump cannot hold it hostage. This is only a continuing resolution till the end of January. So, if Democrats don't get the vote on ACA, or if for whatever reason they don't want to continue funding the government, they've now taken that out of Trump's hands. Trump cannot hold SNAP hostage. It's a pretty big win right there. Like, that in itself, if that's the only thing that came out of it, hey, we're going to hit pause on the shutdown. We're going to open up the government for, what is that going to be? Right, a little over 2 months. So I'm going to say about 9 weeks. We're going to open up the government for 9 weeks, and then we very well might do this again. But at that point, Trump can't hold SNAP hostage. That's a big deal right there.
Yeah. Now, how are the Democrats going to message this? Because they need to get this out there.
I feel like they've been doing it Some of them have been doing it really well today. Some of them have been doing a terrible job. We'll talk about that in a second. They got a promise on a vote on the ACA subsidy. So if they
In the
had,
Senate.
yeah. So here's the deal: had they never shut down the government at all, there wouldn't have been a vote. And they're not good at messaging in general. So like when people's health care started to rise, a lot of Americans they wouldn't have known who to blame. Basically, they would have been like, "Oh, what's going on? Oh, the government sucks. Blah blah blah. Healthcare sucks." We're about to get a vote sometime before mid-December where everybody's going to have to put down on paper whether they're for or against extending the subsidies. I think it'll pass the Senate. Okay, now here's the fun part. I think it'll pass the Senate because whoever's up for re-election can't vote no on that. They'll get killed they'll get killed in their election. Then it's going to go to the House. There is no guarantee that Republicans will even put it on the floor for a vote
That's
in the
what I
House.
was thinking. Yeah.
But I think that like if we're just talking about winning the midterms here, like I think that does just as good. You're making them go on record. It passed in the House or passed in the Senate, and the House won't even put it up for a vote. We have to get Democrats in charge of the House. There's a bill sitting there. If we can just get Democrats to control the House, that bill will go to the floor, and then then it'll go to Trump. Who if he doesn't sign it, good luck. But like to me, those two that I just named, extending SNAP, taking SNAP off the table. For the next year, SNAP can't be used in shutdowns as leverage. And then also, we're going to make them go on record as to whether or not they want to fix the healthcare problem. And Republicans are playing this game right now where they're like, well, we're going to put their bill on the floor for a vote, but we also are going to have our own bill. And they're like, well, we've been working on it for years. Okay, awesome. You know what? If the Republicans have a bill that will work, I'm all for it. Let's see it. Show me what you got.
Yeah.
Something tells me they don't have it. And Trump has been saying all kinds of crazy shit about what he wants to do with healthcare. We're going to get to that here in a little bit. But if their plan is going to be what Trump is saying right now, good luck. Like I hope
they don't have anything. Mike Johnson said they have notepads full of ideas. That's what he said today.
Trump, during his debate with Kamala, remember he kept saying he had a plan. He'd give it to us in
Concepts
2 weeks.
of plan.
Yeah, finally in the debate, he said, well, I have concepts of a plan. I think that means notepads with scribbles on it, some ideas.
Yeah.
Anyhow. But as with the ACA subsidies, like there's a part of me that thinks, like, you ever heard the expression of like sometimes you have to let people touch the stove to know it's hot? Have you ever heard that expression?
Yeah, sure.
Like, there's a part of me that almost wonders, like, would it be better for Democrats in the midterms? This is an evil way to think. I don't want people to suffer and not be able to go to the doctor, but do you almost need to let the subsidies run out and let everybody see what happens to their health care to see that, oh my God, the Republicans did this to us?
Oh, maybe, but yeah. But then we're screwed for a long, long time. I don't think
Oh yeah, no, it would hurt. I think it would only hurt for a couple months, and then I think by like February, March, we'd be back to voting on something because the Republicans, there'd be outrage everywhere, and the Republicans would realize, oh crap, we have to do something about this. So even if it doesn't pass in December, I think something will get done by March. I'm gonna say because like that the country will be going absolutely crazy over these skyrocketed. People won't be able to afford anything. People will be going bankrupt. Right, repossessions on cars will be up. Foreclosures on homes will be up. Like,
Yep.
So
yeah. I mean,
let them touch the stove.
So let's take the alternative. Let's say the Democrats did not cave.
I feel 100% confident saying if they kept this going, at no point would the ACA subsidies have been restored to get the shutdown over with. Trump dug in. There's no way Trump can't. His whole brand is that, he's a good negotiator and this and that. I think that I think what would eventually would have happened was that the Republicans would have killed the filibuster and opened the government, which there's a part of me that kind of would like to see that. Like, okay, yeah, do it. Like, I dare you, do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of those where they would do it and people would celebrate, and then in 3 years they'd be like, oh my God, why did President AOC just outlawed all gas-powered cars or something, ridiculous like that. And it would come back to, I think the Senate, it seems like John Thune, the head of the Senate, he's smart enough to know that that's not an option.
Not a good idea.
We're not nuking the filibuster. So,
yeah.
And even the one towards the end, the last couple of days, there have been a couple, like Lindsey Graham, for example, has always said we can't nuke the filibuster. And the last couple of days, he goes, I don't know. I'm starting to think we should nuke it. I think he was bluffing. I think he was trying to scare the Democrats. He knows better. I fully believe that. So,
Yeah, okay. So then let's just say we get into like February and the government's still shut down. People are going to be furious. The Republicans are going to start talking healthcare. They're going to start sitting down.
I
They had already
uh,
started sitting down with
I
Democrats.
I think there's an element of skill to know when you've gotten all you can out of something and then get out of it. Let's sell high, as they say, and
Yeah.
like the SNAP benefits are going to start hurting. Travel throughout the hall. At a certain point, people were going to start turning on Democrats a little bit. Maybe not all of them, but like I think they were at their high water mark of the Democrats were seen favorably and the Republicans were getting blamed. And at this point, it was going to start turning the other way to where people were just going to be upset with both parties. I honestly think that. So
Well, aren't we
now
all just upset with both parties at this point?
we are, but based off what we saw last Tuesday night in the elections, those people are called the double haters. The double haters are the people that hate everybody. The double haters, like
Double hater.
yeah, 80% of the double haters voted Democrat in the last election, so that's good.
Okay.
But I think that let's say that the base people like you are pissed at Democrats for caving for the next 8 or 9 weeks. Okay, when it comes to the end of January, when we get to do this all over again, either we're going to have the ACA subsidies, and the Democrats can say, "Hey, this would have never happened had we not brought attention to this issue and forced Republicans to take a vote on it. We won." Or we're going to do a shutdown again, but SNAP is off the table. And at that point,
Yeah.
airlines is a thing, but right now we're coming up into Thanksgiving and Christmas when people travel. If say that we start having to cancel flights through February, March, like, doesn't hurt as bad.
Yeah.
It's a better now that Snap is off the table. The better time to have this fight is in January, February, March. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess.
Like I said, I think right now it's easy to be mad at Democrats for caving. I think depending on how the vote goes in December and how things go in January, by February, I think we're all going to look back on this and say, holy shit, the Democrats played this well. I think.
But let's say we shut down the government again. Now
Okay.
the Democrats have shut down the government twice, and I don't think that they're going to be looked on as I don't think they're going to have the same amount of like it's the Republicans' fault.
I think they will simply because I'm going to say I want to say everybody in America. Okay, we'll say the bottom 90% of America is going to be hurting from these because January 1st is when the healthcare premiums change.
Yeah.
So you're going to have 3 weeks or so of these ridiculous premiums that have shot up. Oh my God. I think that people are going to be all for Democrats shutting down the government again to fix this healthcare issue, assuming there's not a fix by then. If there's a fix, if something happens and we get it fixed in December before January hits, then there's no need to shut down unless they have another fight they want to do it over, which I'd have to see what
There's
that fight might
1,000
be.
we could shut the government down over.
None of them are going to poll as well as healthcare. Healthcare was a great issue for them to
100%.
pick, and like I
Yeah.
said, either it's going to get fixed or we get to shut it down again in 8 weeks, and when we do, SNAP is off the table.
Yeah.
I think they're playing it really smart here. I really do. And maybe
Yeah.
I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I think right now they've set themselves up really well for either fixing the ACA subsidies or the next shutdown. Trump doesn't have as much leverage. So,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm torn. You've changed my mind a little bit about
like I
this.
said,
So
I feel pretty good about it right now. But I think it's one of those a lot of things are going to happen between now and February. Also, when it comes to shutdowns, first of all, the side that shuts the government down has never won ever in the history of shutdowns. Okay? You never get anything for a shutdown. In 2013, Ted Cruz led a big government shutdown against Obamacare, and he said he wasn't going to reopen the government until Obama agreed to repeal Obamacare. And that was a long shutdown. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks at that point. And at the end, Ted Cruz gave up and went home. And everybody said, "Oh my God, the Republicans look like fools. They're going to get blown out next year in the midterms." 2014 midterms were a red wave. Like everybody forgot about it. 9 months goes by and a lot of things happen. I feel good about that. I don't think this is going to have anything to do with the midterms next year. I think a lot's going to happen between now and then.
Sure. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. So I feel good about that. Anyhow, we'll see. We'll have to clip this and then we'll come back to this at the end of January and see if I was right or not. Hey, real quick, I had meant to have some stuff on Nancy Mace. We talked last time about how she's kind of going crazy.
Oh yeah.
I've been very interested in this story, and I got to tell you, I'm not going to say anything else about Nancy Mace right now. I'm not even trying to be funny here. Like based off people around her and people in the Senate and the House, people that know her, it seems like she really is having some kind of like a mental break at the moment. Sad. It's still fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's still funny. The whole airport thing, she's suing the airport. The guy, she's running for the governor of South Carolina. The way it's been described by Republicans that know her is that she's getting high off her own supply. She started realizing that like all the very MAGA, like get the trans out of sports and tranny and all the stuff, like it was really working for her, and she kind of got, yeah, she just got too into it, and now
Yeah.
she can't pull herself out of it. She's running for governor of South Carolina. Both senators in South Carolina, Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott, have pretty much come out not on her side. They're on the airport side, which it was funny when she was getting. This is all in the police report, but when she was yelling at the police in the airport, at one point she was like, "This wouldn't happen if I was Tim Scott," or like, "I'll bet this doesn't happen to Tim Scott," or something along those lines. And like Tim Scott was basically like, where the fuck? How did I get into this? Like, keep my name out of it. I have nothing to do with this. So I've decided that if I'm ever anywhere in public and something's not going well for me, I'm going to use that line. I'm like, I'll bet if I was Tim Scott, this wouldn't be happening. I'm just going to start throwing that out wherever I can.
I like it. Yeah.
But her main opponent, there's a lot of people in the primary right now for governor, but the one it's gonna come down to her versus the guy who's currently the AG for South Carolina, and he took Chick-fil-A and Waffle House to the airport to give to the TSA, like to show that he's friendly, but he's jumping on their side. Apparently, the Waffle House thing is like an extra dig because she used to be a waitress at Waffle House, and the fact that he picked Waffle House to take them is like a shot at her somehow. I'm not really sure how. She received the message. She shot back at him and started calling him a pedophile, which that's a right wing thing where when you get mad at somebody, you call him a groomer or a pedophile.
Yeah.
But she said he was a pedophile, and she said, "Oh, did you drive to the airport in your pedo van or something along those lines?" And it's like what does she? It's one of those where it's like she doesn't have anything. She doesn't have anything constructive to say, so now she's accusing him of being a pedophile.
She's
Like I
never
said,
had anything constructive to say.
she doesn't. One of the other good things, I'm just going to say this. One of the other good things about them ending the shutdown is like this has all been going on while Nancy Mace could have been laying low. Like she's supposed to be laying low, and we're all getting to see this. She's going to be back in Washington in front of cameras on Wednesday. Like
Oh.
people are going to get to ask her questions about this. Speaking of laying low, where has Lauren Boebert been? There's a lot of crazy House members that we haven't even said their name in 6 weeks because Congress is out and they've just been hiding. So like some of the Republicans that tend to say crazy shit are going to be back day after tomorrow and in front of the camera.
Lauren Boebert got caught with that outfit. We had a clip of that, didn't we?
Oh yeah, that we did
Her
on
Halloween
Halloween when
costume.
she was
Yeah.
in her racist costume. But yeah, I want to see Nancy Mace on TV. I would like actually I don't. Like I said, I'm going back and forth here. Like part of me is like she's having a mental problem. Let's not make fun of her. The other part of me is like this is fucking hysterical. Like we got to talk about this. So
Well, she deserves it. I mean, 100%. She deserves everything that she's dug for herself.
yeah.
You treat people like crap. You deserve to get treated like crap yourself. What did she do? She kind of first came on the scene when she like put some sign on the women's bathroom, like no men allowed or something, no trans or something.
She first became like known because she was one of the very few House members to vote for Trump's impeachment, a Republican House member. So after January 6th, she voted to impeach Trump. And then as soon as it appeared that Trump is making a comeback and he's going to be the nominee again, she did a 180 and started kissing Trump's ass as much as she could. She tweeted the other night, she was like, "I just had the most wonderful phone call with President Donald Trump. I told him that I love him and that I know he loves America." And it was a really weird tweet where it was like, wow, like you're reaching here, lady. So
she's insane.
Yeah. Like I said, I think that's the problem is like it's fun to say she's insane when she might not really be insane. But once we cross a line to where like, oh shit, she might really be insane. Like we can't make fun of her for it anymore. I think that's
It'd
like
be
a
great if
rule.
she jumps on MGT's train and like they start touring together.
I want to. Part of what I was thinking about today is when she comes back tomorrow, like, is she going to start attacking Marge? Because today, Caitlin Collins asked Trump today in the Oval Office about Marge, and he was like, "I don't know what happened to her. She used to be so sweet. I think she just lost her way." And then Marge tweeted like right afterward and was like, "I haven't lost my way. I'm America first and America only," and blah 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 blah. And like, so. I'll say this, she is more America first than Donald Trump. What's interesting here is that there's kind of there's not a split, but I can see line if the primary comes and Trump doesn't flat out endorse anybody, like JD and Marge are kind of aligned. Like they really are. Marco is more aligned with like the we need to be in foreign wars, like type group. JD and Marge are like America first, no foreign wars.
Well, what does JD say about giving who did we give $40 billion to?
Argentina. He's not going to say anything against Trump, but if you go back to everything he said before the election, he and Marge lined up. And Marge, when she was on, I think it was Tim Dillon's podcast, he asked her about JD Vance, and she was like, "Oh, she's like, I love JD. JD understands what it means to be America first." So I'm just saying, I'm already. That's my prediction right there of a very strong Republican ticket is JD and Marge in 2028.
Oh, okay. And
the challenger and the main challenger in the primaries will be Marco Rubio, and he'll get destroyed by JD and Marge. Trust me. So, and if Marge has been on The View, she's on CNN every day. If she keeps doing all this, she is completely like sane washing her whole past. And like, I think there'll be a lot of people that are interested, like a lot of suburban moms that won't think it's a big deal to vote for Marge at all. And and a lot of them like JD. That's a powerful ticket right there. I'm just saying, like
Andy, I will never forget.
Jewish face lasers and all that. But
yeah, I will never forget what a crazy lunatic Marge has always been.
That's the thing. I don't like if she runs, if say she's the VP nominee or say she runs for president, one or the other, like you have all kinds of ammo loaded up to be like the commercials against her, but also like, I don't know that it'll work. Like I really like people, whatever the conspiracy theories from back in the day. Like, I don't know if that would really hurt her. So
right.
We'll have to see. Anyhow, that's all I got on the shutdown. Trump did do an interview with Laura Ingraham tonight. I didn't have a whole lot to talk about tonight. And then like 2 hours ago, I saw that Trump sat down with Laura Ingraham. I think this is reactionary because who did he sit? He sat down with, I think Nora O'Donnell from CBS for 60 Minutes a week ago or so.
Oh, yeah.
And like that interview didn't go great. So anytime that happens, they try to clean it up and go put him in front of a Fox anchor to do like a softer interview.
A very soft interview.
I'll say this, not as soft as a normal Fox interview. Like she tried to kind of pin him down on some things. It was kind of interesting. At one point, they were doing like a walk and talk through the Oval Office, probably shooting B-roll or whatever. And she was like talking about all the gold random shit on the walls. And she was like, "So where do you get this stuff?" And he was like, "Oh, this is all real gold." And she goes, "Okay, so you don't get it at Home Depot?" And like he breezed right past it. But in my mind, I was like, "Oh shit." Like, so anyhow, it was interesting. Before we get into this, because a lot of this has to do with the economy, I saw there was new polling out today. Harry Enton from CNN. I'm just going to let him kind of explain where America is on the state of the economy real quick. Okay?
Oh, God.
Here we go.
Yeah, what President Trump is trying to sell, the American folks aren't buying, and we can see it pretty simply here. Take a look here. This is consumer sentiment, the current conditions. Consumer sentiment can be the current conditions or it can be future expectations. We're looking at current conditions. And get this, according to the University of Michigan, we are dealing with the worst ever view of current conditions dating all the way back since 1951. This is record-breaking in the way you don't want to be breaking records. And get this, Kate, it is down 30%. Consumer sentiment of current conditions down 30% from January when Donald Trump took office. No bueno.
That is significant and something you can't ignore. You shouldn't ignore it.
No, you should not.
Ignore it to your peril. But they do not feel good about the economy. How much are they blaming this on President Trump?
Yeah, it would be one thing that President Trump could ignore it if folks weren't blaming him for it. But take a look here. Trump's policies have worsened economic conditions in America. Look at this. We're dealing with a super majority here. We're talking about more than 3 in 5 Americans, 61%, who say that Trump's policies have worsened economic conditions in America. How about worsened your own finances? Again, we're dealing with a majority here. 51% of Americans say that Trump's policies have worsened your own finances. This is double trouble for the President of the United States. When you're dealing with consumer sentiment of current conditions being record-breaking in the wrong ways, being record-breaking for the worst ever since 1951, and you're dealing with a supermajority who say that your policies have worsened economic conditions in America, and you're dealing with a majority who say your policies have worsened the folks' own finances, that is, ay caramba, no good.
Yeah.
So people are paying attention.
People are. Now, I'm going to throw some caveats on that real quick, okay? Consumer sentiment has fallen 30% since January. I looked back right after Trump won the election. There were a lot of people, even Democrats, that said, well, at least he's going to be good for the economy. Even though we know that's not true, there were people that said that. So after he won the election, it peaked up a little bit and then came down. So it's not down 30% from where it was, say, like in October of last year. And it spiked up a little bit. The stock market jumped when Trump won. People thought at least there's going to be a lot of crazy shit, but at least the economy will be good. So it kind of peaked up and then it went back down, but down
I don't
30%.
really see Democrats thinking that. I don't think any Democrat really thought Trump was going to be good for the economy.
I think that there's a lot of people that vote blue but don't pay attention, and like just like me a year ago, that are like, well, I mean, Republicans are better for the economy, but blah blah. There's a lot of people that still believe that today, that probably vote blue but still would go, well, anyhow. Also, that was like a 5-minute clip by Harry Enton. I didn't want to play the whole thing, but he did explain, because he said, it was weird to me. He said that the consumer sentiment is at an all-time low since like 1950. And it's like, holy shit, like we had a recession in 91. We had the financial collapse of 2008. Like, how is it lower than that? And he broke it down. It's the consumer sentiment, how people are feeling about it. And like, even when the economy collapsed in 2008, like, the government and the president were aware of it and were scrambling, trying to do something to fix it. So even though things looked bad, you were looking at the government going, okay, you guys are doing something to fix it, right? Yeah. This time it's different. The economy's not as bad as it was in 2008, but then you have Trump that seems to think the economy is fine and there's nothing to fix. And like, that's why those numbers are as low as they are. And we're going to see some of that in this Laura Ingraham interview here. The first clip I have from this is too good. Trump has gone full Biden. I want to set this clip up a little bit, okay? You remember back in the day when people were hurting? We've talked about this a lot. People were hurting. They were low on money, couldn't get to the end of the month on their checks. Groceries were expensive. And Biden just kept saying, hey, the economy's doing good. Like, we have one of the best economies ever. Basically, like, this is all in your imagination. The economy's fine. You're making this up. That's kind of
Biden. It was slowly getting better.
It was getting better, but all he had to do was acknowledge that people are hurting and say, hey, I know you're hurting. I hear you. I feel your pain. I'm trying. But instead of
the Democrats' messaging and the fact that Biden really couldn't string too many sentences together.
Yeah. But he never even tried to to sympathize. And that's weird. Biden in every other aspect is a real good, he's got a lot of empathy. He's good at sympathizing with people. But for some reason, when it came to the economy, he didn't want to go down that road. And he wanted to basically tell you that, hey, what you're feeling is not real. Like, the economy's great, but for some reason you think it's bad. Trump has gone full Biden here. And pay attention at the end of this. Laura Ingraham even says, like, isn't that kind of what Biden was doing, trying to tell people? And he immediately goes into the weave. He gets off the economy and goes into something else. But check this clip out real quick.
The economy was listed as a top concern. I know you know this, for voters in New Jersey, New York, Virginia. And I know you've been all over the affordability issue today and for the last several months. Eggs, gas, dinner costs for Thanksgiving way down. But other things, as you noted, have gone up. Beef, coffee, auto repairs. Is this a voter perception issue of the economy, or is there more that needs to be done by Republicans on Capitol Hill, or done in terms of policy?
More than anything else, it's a con job by the Democrats. They're saying, they just have to say, they put out something, say today costs are up. They feed it to the anchors of ABC, CBS, and NBC, and a lot of other, and CNN, and et cetera. And it's like a standard. I'll never forget, they had used a word like manufactured. Do you remember the word manufactured? It's a manufactured economy. Nobody uses that word. Every anchor broke the manufactured. They do exactly what they say. It's such a rigged system. So are you ready? Costs are way down. Gasoline is going to be hitting $2 pretty soon, or around $2. Gasoline is at $2.70 now, and it was at $4.50 under Biden, under Sleepy Joe. When gasoline comes down, when energy comes down, and everybody agrees energy's down, we're drilled, drill baby drill. We're going like wild. We produce more gasoline, oil and gas in the last month than we ever have before, by far. And we're going to also end up filling up the national strategic reserves, which were taken out by Biden in order to try and win an election. Didn't work out too well. They tapped in. That's supposed to be for war, for national emergency, not to get.
So are you saying that voters are are
they're being fed a con
misperceiving
job.
how they feel, or
So when I took over, you remember?
because you said Biden did that too, because he was saying things were great, but
let's
things weren't
say
great.
it's synonymous, Biden and Kamala, because you didn't know who the hell was campaigning. I mean, it got to a point. So I was up by 20 points on Biden or some crazy number. And they said, all right, let's get him out. We'll put a new one. This never happened to anybody. All of a sudden, I have somebody new. And they had the 6-week honeymoon, which was standard in the world of politics. You get a little honeymoon. And she had her little honeymoon, but then eventually people got to know her, too. And then they had the 60 Minutes catastrophe where they, changed her answer.
Housing costs are
Okay, so
There's
it's
so
a
much of that.
it's a con job. The liberal media, the Democrats are feeding talking points to the liberal media. The liberal media is
Nobody uses manufacturing anymore.
manufactured, saying it's a manufactured crisis. You remember the word manufactured? Nobody uses that anymore. No, people, anyhow. But his contention is that the economy's not bad. The Democrats are in cahoots with the lying liberal mainstream media, and the media is telling us that the economy's bad, and we're falling for it. Is basically what he's trying to say there. She even said,
Did you see how they're doing the Thanksgiving now?
Are you talking about the Walmart Thanksgiving dinner?
Yeah.
So feel free. I'll talk about it, or you can. But
I just heard somebody talking about how they basically took the Thanksgiving dinner from previous years and cut it in half.
They didn't cut it in half. They did remove several items from it, and they replaced a lot of items with the Walmart Great Value brand instead of the name brand that it was.
Okay.
This is one of those where the heads of these companies, they're trying to help Trump out. And the head of the CEO of Walmart came out, I don't know, a week ago, and he was like, good news. Under President Trump, because they sell a Thanksgiving Day package. It's a package that's all these items, everything you need for a Thanksgiving Day meal. And they said, under President Trump, the Thanksgiving Day meal is going to be 25% less than it was last year under President Biden. And then everybody started looking at us because you took several items out and replaced other items with the generic brand. And that's why, and you can go on Twitter and you can ask Grok about it or whatever, anyhow. And that's known, but notice that everybody on Fox, including Laura Ingraham they just keep repeating, well, Thanksgiving dinner is going to be cheaper this year than it was last year under Biden. And it's no. The Walmart package Thanksgiving dinner is cheaper because it's less items. It's less value overall. If you're just going to the store and buying a turkey and all the fixings and all that, it's going to be more expensive by about 3%. That's what it's looking like. So anyhow, also, this has been irritating me because he the other day or today during that interview he said gas is down to $2.70. It was $4.50 under Biden. Okay, he's being sneaky here. There was a point under Biden in 2022 when it was $4.50, when the entire world turned back on their economies after COVID and inflation shot through the roof. America handled inflation better than every other developed country. We did a really good job with it. It did get up to $4.50. Inflation got up to 9.1%. Biden had brought all that back down. When Trump took over, gas has gone down about 20 cents under Trump, and I'm thankful for that. I will say that. Gas is down about 20 cents. Awesome. Keep it going. Keep it going. I'm cool with that.
Well, don't keep drill baby drilling.
No, but Trump
slow
can't
this
help.
down a little bit.
Remember for the past 9 months, Trump keeps saying it's down below $2 in some places, and everybody's like, where is it below $2? That's not happening. And even there, he's like, it's $2.70. In fact, it'll be at $2 soon. We're never going to see $2 gas again. We should be very happy with our $2.70 gas. Anyhow, but that's even Scott Bessent and Kevin Hassett, two of the economic guys in the White House. One of them the other day came out and said, well, inflation averaged 5% under Biden. So far, it's only averaging 2.5% under Trump. So we're saving you money. And it's that's okay. Yes, technically what you just said is true, but that's not the way you look at this. Inflation, something that goes up, it comes down. It was 2.1 when Biden gave it to you. It was 2.1. Now it's 3. It's gone back up.
Do tariffs count into inflation?
Yeah, well, tariffs cause inflation.
Tariffs cause inflation. Okay.
Yeah, they make the price. By definition, tariffs are a tax that make things more expensive. When things get more expensive, that's inflation. So
so they're not separating.
Which, on a complete side note, I think we talked about it a little bit last time, but the Supreme Court is totally going to save Trump from himself here with the tariffs. They're going to rule these tariffs unconstitutional, and he's going to have to give
Yeah.
all the money back. And when he does, the stock market is going to skyrocket, and I'll bet consumer sentiment, which we were just talking about, that's at a record low, is going to go back up, and it'll fix a lot of things for Trump, and he'll be pissy about it, and he'll be whining, but like he should just be happy they're saving him from his tariff debacle, but. And there are other ways. He's using something called the IEEPA or something like that. It's basically declaring an emergency to put on tariffs. He can, if they rule it unconstitutional, there are other ways he can put on the tariffs, but he has to basically like show his work. He needs to do studies and show this is how much we're losing here. It'll take him longer, but he can still do it. So I think that'll be his move. If they really can't do it, he's going to do the harder way to do tariffs.
I'm just trying to figure out how long, like, if they do say that him putting on tariffs is unconstitutional, how long the stock market's going to go up, and how long before it starts to come back down? Like, when is that AI bubble going to pop? Because everybody's talking about this.
Yeah, even Breaking Points did a whole segment on it today about Sam Altman, and it's weird. Like I said, like within the last week or so, his company like officially asked the government to back their debts, and like that's a bad sign. If you're doing that, it's because you have a feeling things are about to go south. So that's why everybody's talking about the AI bubble. They've been talking about it for I feel like months, but this week it's accelerated, and it's all based off OpenAI and Sam Altman asking the government to back their debts. That's a bad sign. You don't do that when you think things are going well, they're going to keep going up. You don't ask anybody to back your debts. And I think
I've heard AI bubble for at least 6 months now.
Yeah, it's without there's like they call it the Magnificent Seven or something. I think there's 7 AI companies, and without them, our GDP this year is 0.1%, our growth. But with them, it's like 3.5, and it's all imaginary like numbers and sales that are happening between like these AI companies are selling things to each other, but they're not actually selling anything. Like they're selling a promise of something. I'm not the guy to explain it. I can just tell you that when I hear smart people explain it, it sounds very, very weird and illegal almost. Like, how can they be like this company sold this company nothing, and now they're both claiming their value went up? Like, it's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Okay.
But I mean, it's the same thing what happened with the what is it? The internet bubble.
The
.com bubble. Yeah.
Which
I mean, it's basically the same thing.
I don't remember I keep hearing people talk about the .com bubble. It was like 2001-ish. We were graduating high school at that point. I don't think me and you were paying attention to the economy at all. I have no memory of a .com bubble.
Definitely not.
Apparently it happened. I'm not the guy to talk about it though. So also real quick, I kind of mentioned this last time, but Trump has gone back and forth like a bipolar person in the past since the election, since that last Tuesday night, where like the next day he couldn't stop talking about affordability and Republicans need to talk about affordability more. And then the next day he was like, I don't want to hear anybody even talk about affordability anymore. It's a con job. And he keeps going back and forth. And at one point, it was either Friday or Saturday, he announced through his Truth Social that all Americans, or he didn't say, I liked this. He didn't say all Americans. He said middle class and low class Americans are going to get a $2,000 stimulus check. This is weird to me because the whole inflation thing, inflation was not caused by Biden giving a stimulus check. Okay, it didn't help. It definitely didn't help. Like when you pump more money into the economy, inflation goes up. Reaching 9% inflation was not due to that $2,000 stimulus check. Trump gave us a $2,000 stimulus check before he left office, or before the election in like 2019, 2020, roughly.
That was like $1,200.
So it was something like that, $1,200. I think it was $1,200. And then while him and Biden were running in 2019, 2020, like at first he was like, I'm going to give another stimulus. And then Biden was like, I'm going to do it too, but I'm going to do $1,500. And then Trump was like, well, I'm going to do $2,000. And by the time the election was happening, they were both promising a $2,000 stimulus check. So people forget that. But no matter who won that election, we were going to get a $2,000 stimulus check. The whole time Biden was in office, people were saying, well, it's these stimulus checks. He was trying to give money away. Now Trump's saying he's going to give us a $2,000 stimulus. It's a stimulus check. He's calling it a tariff rebate check because we pay the damn tariffs. It's our money he took from us, and he's going to give it back, and he's going to make it a big deal that Donald Trump gave you this money. No, it's our money. Give us our money back.
Well, the courts are going to make him give us that money. That's the thing.
No, they're going to make them give it to the importers. We'll probably never see a dime of that.
So then he's gonna have to give it to he's gonna have to give the importers back all their money. So where is he getting the $2,000 per American citizen?
So that's never going to happen. And here's how I know it's never going to happen. He said it on either Friday or Saturday, and then Scott Bessent. I feel like Scott's in the doghouse because whoever they make go out and do the Sunday morning shows, I feel like is somebody that they all don't like because it's not glorious at all. Like you're going to go out and take a beating about all the stuff Trump's been saying all week, and you have to try to. It's a shitty job. Scott keeps getting the Sunday morning shows. But he was on, I think, ABC with George Stephanopoulos, and they asked him about the $2,000 tariffs. Check out his answer real quick.
Oh God.
It could the $2,000 dividend could come in lots of forms, in lots of ways, George. It could be just the tax decreases that we are seeing on the president's agenda. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, deductibility of auto loans. So those are substantial deductions that are being financed in the tax bill.
So the $2,000 stimulus that Trump said he's going to send out, we might actually already have it. We didn't know we had it all along. It was part of the big, beautiful bill. He lowered taxes, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. That is the $2,000 stimulus. So we should honestly be thanking Trump because we weren't aware, but he already gave us our stimulus. He's just now telling us about it.
Beat up, man. He looks so tired.
So when you do the Sunday morning shows, I've seen a couple things on this, but you sit in a studio and it's like, all right, we have ABC coming up in 5 minutes, and you sit there and you're ready. And okay, ABC, you talk to them for 5 to 10 minutes, and then as soon as that's over, it's like, okay, NBC coming up in 3 minutes, and then you have to do it with like 5 or 6 channels because you do it with ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, Fox. Like by the end, you have to just be. It's gotta suck.
Yeah, you're just probably answering the same questions over and over again.
And like certain times in certain administrations, like you go out there and like, hey, today I'm here to sell. I'm trying to sell the president's new bill on this, or whatever it is. I'll bet there's certain times to do it where it's not that bad. When you're Trump's guy, like that throughout the week Trump said or tweeted or he did some things that now they're going to ask you about that are kind of hard to defend. They're almost indefensible, but you have to do it. You have to, and so imagine how much you have to prepare for. Like, first of all the things going on with the shutdown and the economy, you got to be ready to talk about. But then also, okay, give me a list of all the shit Trump did this week that I have to be ready for them to ask me about.
Why have we killed 67 fishermen?
Is it only 67? It feels like it should be more than that.
It's 67. I looked it up today. Okay. It's like 17 boats, 67 people died.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We're not even talking. That's, again, I saw it. They blew up like 2 more boats in the South Pacific, either yesterday or today. We're not even talking about it. It's out. It's just happening, and we're done. We're moving on. There's other things to talk about.
We've moved on.
Trump did have a beautiful plan for how to deal with the housing crisis. Everybody I can think of agrees that we need more affordable housing. We need to build more lower cost housing. Like that's the easy way out of this. We need to make some kind of incentive. The government needs to incentivize builders to build low income housing.
But where are they going to build them?
We have there's spots to build all around in every city. There are spots. Like, we don't have to take BLM land. I'll tell you that. Like but
that's what they want to do.
They're trying to do that. But like, if you're a builder, and I in my line of business, I'm talking to builders all day long, and you start off building, the small 1,500 to 2,000 square foot houses, and you can sell them, but your profit margin isn't very big on those houses. Where your margin is big is on building $1 million house. That's where you can make a lot of buck in the same amount of time. You can build a really big house and make more money. So they all want to do that. So the government's going to have to find some kind of a way to incentivize them to build more of the lower income ones, make it more profitable for them through tax breaks or something. That's the way out, according to every economist that's looked at this. Trump has a better idea.
I saw this.
Check this out. All right.
Housing costs are still out of reach. And another thing that your administration is trying to tackle, many Americans, the average age of first-time home buyers are now up to age 40, which is sad. The country you and I grew up in.
I inherited that. Look, you have to understand.
Right, but let me get to the question, though, because your housing director has proposed something that has enraged your MAGA friends, which is this 50-year mortgage idea. So a significant MAGA backlash, calling it a giveaway to the banks and simply prolonging the time it would take for Americans to own a home outright. Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you go from 40 to 50 years. And what it means is you pay you pay something less from 30. That some people had a 40, and then now they have a 50. All it means is you pay less per month. You pay it over a longer period of time. It's not like a big factor. It might help a little bit. But the problem was that Biden did this. He increased the interest rates, and I have a lousy Fed person who's going to be gone in a few months.
It's not a big deal. It's not like a big factor. And also, I don't know for sure, but I feel very confident in saying that there is no such thing as a 40-year mortgage. 30 years the max. If there's a 40-year, I don't know about it. I'm just going to say. But he doesn't know because he's never had to buy a house like anybody normally has.
Well, what I heard about this was like, so the graphic on the screen was it was going to increase the interest, just the interest, 86%.
So I pulled some numbers here. If you buy a $300,000 house at 6%, on a 30-year note, you pay $350,000 in interest. So $300 house plus $350,000 in interest. In total, you end up paying throughout 30 years $650,000 for a $300,000 house.
There's no $300,000 houses in Colorado.
No, I believe you in Colorado, but there are in certain parts of the country. But so 30-year, you're paying $650 for a $300,000 house. On that same house, a 50-year note, you would pay $620,000 in interest. So,
wait, you're paying $350 in interest?
Yeah,
you're more than doubling on just on a 6% 30-year note.
And then on top of that, hear me on this. The whole point of buying a house is to get equity in your house. That's why for a long time when I was renting apartments and renting houses, my stepdad was always telling me, he's like, you need to buy a house. You need to start building equity. You're just throwing money away when you're renting. I didn't get it at the time. After we moved from our first house to our second house, that's when I truly understood it. I'll talk about that in a second. But at the beginning, when you're paying off a house, only a small amount actually goes towards the principal paying down your house. The rest of it's going to interest. On a 50-year note, only 5% of your payments actually going towards the principal. 95% of it's going to the interest for like the first 10 years. On a 30-year, it's 17% is going towards the principal. Still not a lot, but more than 3 times what it would be on a 50-year note. So
yeah, and I've been listening to like economists and different people talk about like managing money and stuff, and they say that it is not even worth buying a house now. Like you're gonna have better if you just take that money and rent and put the rest of your money in the bank.
Yeah, right now is a crappy time to be buying. So
yeah, it's horrible. Yeah.
Well, I didn't understand how housing worked until I started playing this game. But and I'm gonna give you rough numbers here. Me and my wife, before we got married, the first house we bought, remember the one with the basement? It was not a good. It was a starter house for sure. But we bought that for $120,000. At that time, that was a lot of money.
When was that? That was
2008 or 9, maybe something like that.
Yeah, so that was when the market had bottomed out and housing was going for super cheap.
Yeah. So and we got lucky. We bought it at the right time. But we bought that.
Bought it at the right time.
We were in that house for 4 or 5 years, maybe. And when we sold it, we went to sell it, and we had a realtor come out, run the comps and all that, and they were like, "Yeah, let's list it at 180." And I was like, "If anything, we have fucked this house up since we moved in. Like, we didn't improve this house at all. It's in worse shape today than it was when I bought it." And I think we ended up getting like 165 for it or something like that, which gave us a lot more money to put down on our next house. Our next house we bought for like $220,000, more money than I thought I'd ever have to put on a house. We bought it for like $220,000. When we ended up moving to Oklahoma and we had to sell that house, we sold it for $355,000. Okay, that gave us a whole lot of money to put down on the house I'm in now. The house I'm in now is something I never dreamed I would be paying for a house, but all because we started with a $120,000 little starter house. We built equity and we did it quickly within 5 years. And housing in general, unless there's a recession, the value of your house is always going to go up. It's the exact opposite of a car. As soon as you drive off the lot, your car depreciates. As soon as you buy a house, it just keeps on appreciating somehow, some way.
Unless you bought in 2007.
Unless there's a housing collapse, and even then, the smart thing to do is just hold on to your house for about a decade, and then the value will be back where it was. Some people, due to circumstances, can't do that. But anyhow, but if you buy a house on a 50-year note, it's going to be 20, 25 years till you have any equity in the house to be able to do what me and my wife were able to do 3 times to this point. Let's say you get 30 years old is about a normal age right now to get married and settle down, right? If you get married and settle down at 30 years old on a 50-year note, you're paying that house off until you're 80 years old.
The average new home buyer is 38 right now.
That's crazy. And I was talking to somebody this weekend who's in the mortgage industry, and they were saying that really 30-year mortgages are criminal. Like it should be 15. Like if you did a 15-year note, your monthly payment only goes up like a couple $100s, depending on the house, but it really doesn't go up that much, and you end up saving so much in interest that you would have paid had you done a 30. And she was saying that anybody that does a 30-year note is crazy. Like 15 is the way to go. 50 is ridiculous. And then on top of that, Trump, as if the 50-year house payment wasn't enough. What did he say here? Hold on. He released this, and I thought this was a joke. The first time I saw this, I was like, that's photoshopped. This is from the White House, the office of President Donald J. Trump. As he continues to work hard to make the American dream accessible to everyone, President Trump today has asked Department of Transportation and Commerce to make vehicle ownership for all a reality by introducing 15-year car loans. Secretary Duffy and Lutnick are already working on it, delivering for America. I still think that's not real. I'm praying to God that like I saw that the first several times I saw it, I was like, I'm not buying it. And then I saw it from like reputable GOP accounts where they were like, yeah, a 15-year car note. Cars don't last 15 years. If you buy American, it doesn't last. Like when your car just dies of old age, you're still going to owe a couple grand on it. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I hope that's I'm going to say allegedly because I still don't think that's real. It could be, but I'd like to hope it's not.
Oh my gosh.
I got one more.
He's digging America into like a hole that we're never going to get out of.
Yeah. It seems like there's been enough backlash on the 50-year house loans. Like MAGA was upset about that. Like a lot of people. So I don't know that that's ever going to happen. I think that's just going to quietly go away. And in a year, we're going to be like, remember when Trump said? And it just kind of never happened.
You know what would help the housing a lot is if you just stopped letting giant corporations buy up all the housing.
That's a key thing, and that would work. And it's what is it? Investment companies. I can't think of the right word for.
Yeah, like BlackRock. BlackRock is one of them.
There's a name for that. Mutual funds, whatever. I don't know. There's some name for those companies. Also, I'm just going to throw it out there. Right now, the price of building a house is so ridiculously expensive because we get all of our lumber from Canada, and right now it's being tariffed by 35%. We get most of our concrete and like sheetrock and stuff from Mexico, which is being tariffed at 30%. Like those, we don't do lumber and concrete and sheetrock in America. Like we don't make those here. So those tariffs make no sense. I get real frustrated about that. I talk to builders all day.
Manufacture them here.
Okay, start making it here and start cutting down the Lincoln National Forest and wherever else so that we can build houses. Sounds great. Yeah.
Sounds
I only have one more clip from this interview, and then I do have two funny ones after this. But here's Trump on healthcare. Let's give this a listen real quick.
On Obamacare, you raised several times during this shutdown debate that it's clear that this was never going to work without these massive subsidies. Now they wanted to continue the COVID subsidies. So given the fact that Obamacare really can't survive as they thought without these subsidies, what next?
Well, I watched Obama from when this thing came about. As you know, I opposed it very strongly. Unfortunately, we had a couple of negative votes, which should never have happened. But I said it's going to be a disaster, and I was exactly right. The premiums have gone up like rocket ships, and I'm not just talking about recently. I'm talking about for years they've been going up. And he said premiums will go down, everything will be wonderful. It's horrible health insurance at a very high price. And what I want, and probably what you're alluding to, is the fact that I want, instead of going to the insurance companies, I want the money to go into an account for people where the people buy their own health insurance. It's so good. The insurance will be better. It'll cost less. Everybody's going to be happy. They're going to feel like entrepreneurs. They're actually able to go out and negotiate their own health insurance. And they can use it only for that reason. That's the beauty, only for that purpose. And if we did that, that would be so exciting. Call it Trump care, call it whatever you want to call it, but anything but Obamacare. Obamacare is a disaster, just like he was as a president.
So that is like somewhat of a single payer health care.
No. It's the exact opposite of that. So here's the thing. if you're a bank, you loved it when he mentioned a 50-year house note. Like
Oh,
that's awesome. You
yeah.
banks are applauding at that. Like it's almost like a banker told him, like, hey, you know it's a good idea because that's great for them. It's also almost like an insurance company mentioned this idea to him. So the idea behind single payer is that if there's a single payer, the government that's dealing with the insurance companies, they have more negotiating power. Okay, if everybody's on their own, each individual person has no negotiating power. The insurance companies hold all the power at that point. What he's basically describing is what's called a health savings account, an HSA. We both have a buddy who's co-hosted on the show with us before, who for a long time had an HSA, and I didn't know at one point I was like, we were talking about his job. And I was like, oh, like good dental plan, good insurance. And he's like, nah, I got a health savings account. And he was explaining, and basically it's where you get a certain amount of money from your check that you can do no taxes on, tax free, and stick it into an account that is only for healthcare reasons. So, and it's what you decide to take out of your check every year, every month, whatever. So, like, let's say you put $5,000 aside, tax free out of your check to cover all your doctor visits and all that. Like, you might get, assuming you stay healthy, you're fine. Checkups here and there, some dental cleanings, whatever. But then you break your leg or you get cancer or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you're just going to go into debt now. Like it's a screw job. Like an HSA should be illegal in my opinion. Like it's not insurance. And
It's basically a tax write-off for the wealthy is what an HSA is.
yeah.
They have those, but they also have health insurance.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they do it so that they don't have to pay taxes on that money.
Yep. And like I said, the whole point of having insurance and
But the government's going to fund our HSAs.
well, it seems like they're going to give us some kind of a tax rebate every year. Is from what I think he's saying, is that everybody would get 500, 1,000, 2,000, I don't know what, of like a tax rebate every year that would be for your healthcare spending only. But then, like, I don't know how much you pay a year in healthcare, but like, if you got $2,000 from the government every year, would that cover just your
No.
premiums?
Not really. I mean,
Would it cover
probably cover most. It would probably cover all my checkups and stuff.
all your checkups? But then,
But
like,
if anything else happened, like I had to get a tooth cap or something, like it wouldn't cover that.
and then you would just have to go into debt for that. So
Yeah.
that's a screw job. Again, if you're a bank, you love everything he said about housing, and if you're an insurance company, like yes, HSAs for everybody. Like if you're a health company, that's awesome. So anyhow, those were the highlights from the Laura Ingraham interview. He did a little bit of weaving.
A little even.
Yeah. This there's no context to this. You know how every now and then Trump like discovers a word and he's like, a lot of people don't know this word, but it's a word that we all clearly know. This isn't quite that, but he had a moment similar to that today in the Oval Office. Check this out real quick.
Example, China was going to hit us with rare earth. Now everybody says, so what does that mean? Magnets. If China refused to give magnets because they have a monopoly on magnets because they were allowed to happen over a 32-year period, there wouldn't be a car made in the entire world. There wouldn't be a radio. There wouldn't be a television. There wouldn't be internet. There wouldn't be anything because magnets are such a part. Now, nobody knows what magnets are, and not overly sophisticated, but to build a magnet system would take 2 years.
Nobody
What
knows
is he even talking about?
Nobody knows what magnets are, but apparently we need them. No, you know what?
Everybody knows what magnets are.
Me and you have a loose understanding. Like me and you would know what magnets do. We know what they do. We couldn't make a magnet, but we know what they do. But I'll bet there's a lot of people in America, call them scientists, I don't know, that fully understand how magnets work and how they're made. I think it would be a good idea if we started processing rare earth minerals here in America. That sounds like a great idea. Apparently, it would take a couple of years for us to start doing that. Also, I learned this.
We would have to dig. We would have to create mines.
Yes, we would definitely have to.
You know where they want to create a mine?
Probably
like a copper mine.
Probably in a beautiful area somewhere.
Yeah, they're all in beautiful areas.
Yeah.
All the mines that they would be doing is in the beautiful areas, and it would pollute all of our waters. So the biggest copper mine they want to put up, and they've been fighting it. I haven't seen anything on it in a while, but they wanted to put it just above the boundary waters.
Okay, I don't know where that is. Where's the
boundary?
boundary?
It's up northern Minnesota. It's like one of the most beautiful places on earth. It's a
Okay.
series of lakes. and they wanted to put this copper mine just above the boundary waters. And scientists are like, this is going to pollute the entire area. Like there will be no clean water here
Yeah.
if we create this copper mine. But you know, the Republicans want to do
Here's
it.
the you know me, and I want to protect all of our beautiful land everywhere. I also can just tell you, like, we do need rare earth minerals. Like, we need
Buy them from China.
magnets.
Stop tariffing China and
Yeah.
just buy them from China.
Work on having a great relationship with China, I guess. But right now, we're
Yeah.
not doing that. So, one way or another, we need to make sure we're going to be able to keep accessing these. Is all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
And
we're gonna need
one of the reasons we were using USAID to make inroads in Africa was so we could get a lot of this shit from over there, and we've totally just thrown that away. So,
And I want to say that you can't even mine magnets in the United States. Like I don't think we have a magnet reserve.
well, so here's the deal. I don't know enough about this to really talk about this, but like doing processing rare earth minerals is basically just sifting through dirt. All of it's like microscopic pieces of all this stuff is in the dirt, and you have to have machines that pull that out, and then you melt it all together into one magnet or whatever it is, copper magnet, whatever. That's it's processing dirt is what we would basically need to start doing, and nobody in America wants that job. So good
So
luck processing
we
dirt.
do have a magnet mine. It's on Mountain Pass, California, which sounds beautiful.
I'll bet it is.
We just lack the industrial capacity to fully process these materials into final magnets domestically.
Yep. Well, we can either get along with China or start making this shit ourselves.
So we mine our rare earth minerals and we send them overseas to have them manufactured, creating a
And
long supply chain. Yeah.
it's the processing that China can do. Like they've cornered the market on processing rare
Yeah.
earth. So
Yeah.
just got to process it here. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm sure it's clean to
Yeah.
process all the rare earth minerals.
Probably fine. So
Probably fine.
yeah. I do have one more clip. So have you been hearing much about how Maha is doing recently? I mean, have you heard Maha at all? RFK. I feel like RFK is taking a backseat to everything else going on.
I think the last thing I saw with him was the Tylenol thing, which
So the Tylenol thing, which that was more Trump, because like RFK came out a week or two ago and was like, "Well, I'm not fully ready to say that acetaminophen causes problems, autism, whatever it was." He just said that there is some evidence that suggests it, but it's not correlating yet. Or he says, so he kind of backed off of that. Trump is still saying, "Whatever you do, don't take it." But it was interesting. Joe Rogan had Brett Weinstein, whatever, Eric Weinstein or Brett Weinstein, one of the Weinsteins, had
Okay.
him on his show, and he was saying, he was like, he basically said, "I'm really disappointed with what's happened with Maha." Like, he's like, I don't know. He said, "I don't know what happens. You have all these great ideas, and you get to Washington, and Washington just kind of swallows you." And Joe Rogan made the joke. He was like, he said if he was controlling the board right now, the song "Money" by Pink Floyd would come on right now because it's the money, and yeah, you get there, and you just like Congress, you get corrupted by the money.
Yeah.
But one thing that's interesting to me is 2-3 years ago, Ozempic, probably just a year ago, Ozempic and all those drugs started becoming popular and talked about everywhere. And
Yeah.
I have a family member who's very Maha. I was going to say Maha curious, but she's flat out Maha. And I remember at one point I asked her, I was just like, "Hey, I was like, what do you think of like Ozempic? Like, I could lose some weight." And she was like, "No." And she listed all the reasons why Ozempic's bad for you. And she said a lot of things that I'd never heard. But then over the next couple of months, I heard a lot of them, what turned into the Maha people. I think back then they weren't Maha yet, but these are all the people that eventually became Maha. And they were saying, these GLP-1 drugs, they cause like stomach paralysis and all kinds of things that are bad for you. And like I remember Gillian Anderson, she's the lady that stormed off set with Hannah Kasparian recently because they were talking about Israel and she quit.
Oh,
her
yeah,
own
yeah.
show. But she was on, I think, Rogan at one point, and she was saying that there are horrible side effects in 50% of people that take Ozempic. And I remember it scared me. I was like, "Oh God, like I'm glad I'm not taking it. Like I shouldn't take this." But in my daily life, I know a lot of people that are taking these GLP-1s, and I haven't heard a single horror story. But when you listen online to Maha podcast type
Well,
people,
are they going to tell you about their diarrhea and their stomach paralysis?
I've had a lot of people recommend it, like people that I know that are like, "Yeah, I lost 50 pounds this year," and I'm like, "How?" And they're like, "Oh, I took one of those GLP-1s," and really the only thing that's stopping me is that most people say it costs about $2,500 for a year to do that, and then I'm very worried about like, yeah, you stop after a year, and then do you just gain it all right back? It seems like that's anyhow. What's weird to me is in the past couple weeks, like Dr. Oz and RFK have been like really pushing the GLP-1, Ozempic, Wegovy, whatever it is. And I'm like, I remember specifically RFK saying, don't take those things. Like, I saw him on podcast say that. Like, what changed? If you remember, Dr. Oz just last week was saying that like Americans are going to lose 135 billion pounds before the midterms, which equaled out to like 393 pounds per individual in America. But either way, but they're pushing the heck out of these, and I kind of want to ask my Maha family member, like, hey, are you now because RFK changed? Are you now okay with this, or do you still think I shouldn't? Like, I'm kind of curious. But RFK went on Fox. I think this was just today, and they asked him the exact question I would ask him. So check this out real quick.
But so do you believe that Ozempic and Wegovy and these drugs, that they are safe for long-term use for Americans?
Well, I didn't say that. I said I think every pharmaceutical intervention has risks, and there are some pretty well documented risks for these GLP drugs, and so people should talk with their doctors and be aware of those risks and be alert to them, because there are definitely risks.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I don't have a problem with what he said right there. I don't. Talk to your doctor. There are risks. That all makes sense. What I have a problem with is for the last couple of weeks, him and Dr. Oz and Trump have been celebrating that they're making these GLP-1s cheaper, and every American should be on them. And we're trying to have all Americans lose 135 billion pounds collectively. Like, hey, for the last 3 weeks while you've been pushing and celebrating this, how come you didn't at any point there say that there are side effects, there are risks, talk to your doctor? What's going on here, RFK?
So here's what it is. Dr. Oz
is invested in
financial ties to pharmaceutical companies that produce GLP-1 products. Yeah, that's what it is.
That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, he's been selling weight loss drugs, like fake weight loss drugs, all of his life.
So then, but RFK, who the people that love RFK would say that he's principled and he cares about people and what's right and people's health. Like,
he's not principled. What on earth makes you think he's principled?
I'm saying that's what they would say. I'm not saying that.
Okay, sorry.
But so by that logic though, like, is he okay turning a blind eye to this because Dr. Oz, is he getting a cut of the money? Like,
100%, baby. He's just trying to help a buddy sell some product.
That's basically what Joe Rogan and whatever Weinstein I was watching. That's basically what they were saying. Is it's all money. Like, that's what they got in there, and now they're getting greased. They're getting greased by the big pharma companies, and like, okay, that's business as usual.
100%. I mean, with this whole administration, that's all they're doing is pulling money out of our hands.
You can't tell the American public for 2 straight weeks that they should be taking GLP-1s, and then when you get asked on Fox, go, well, I never said they were safe. What?
Yeah, I mean, he should not be in that position.
No.
Dr. Oz maybe should be in his position, but I don't even know if he's a real doctor. Like, has he ever treated an actual patient, or is he just a TV doctor?
You know, I want to go out on a limb here. Dr. Phil is a real doctor because he is a psychologist. He has a psychology degree.
He's a psychologist,
I think. Yeah. Is Dr. Oz a medical doctor? Okay, let's see here. Yes, he is a medical doctor. He is a cardiothoracic surgeon and professor of surgery at Columbia University. Okay, I'm glad I looked. It didn't. If it would have said no, he's not a real doctor, I wouldn't have been shocked. But he is a doctor.
Okay. Does he practice? I mean, it seems like he has his hands tied. I don't know if he's practicing anymore.
I mean, I was about to say we got Dr. Phil because of Oprah, right? Like, Oprah introduced the world to Dr. Phil. Like, without Oprah, we wouldn't have
that
Dr.
was a
Phil.
mistake.
Where did Dr. Oz come from?
He was on TV. When was the last time Dr. Oz practiced medicine? 2018. He stopped performing surgeries and was named Professor Emeritus.
God dang it. Oprah Winfrey sucks. We have Dr. Oz also because of Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey gave us Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz. He was a frequent guest and TV expert on her show, making his first appearance in 2004, which led to his own show, The Dr. Oz Show, in 2009. Oprah. Oprah. Okay, well, good to know.
Does
Uh,
Dr. Oz sell supplements? Oh, what does Dr. Oz recommend for weight loss? Oh,
GLP-1s.
no, specific plans like the Total 10 Rapid Weight Loss Plan.
Okay, all right.
Um,
So here's the thing. I like that RFK has a focus on like we need to get Americans healthier. Americans need to lose weight. They need to start eating healthier. Like he said that a lot leading up to the election, and I was all for that. And I feel like he hasn't put a lot of time and energy into that. And if he is, it's not getting the coverage. Maybe he's trying. I saw that him and President Trump are reinstituting like the presidential fitness test, which will be done in like elementary schools. And apparently
does the
this
president
happened.
have to do it?
No, the president does not. And thank God he doesn't have to do it.
It's called
But I don't know what year they did. They did this for a while. This went on for a long time where there was like, and it was kind of a patriotic thing. Like you need to be in good shape for your country. And we stopped it at some point. But now they're trying to reinstitute President Trump's presidential fitness test.
Ooh.
So I don't know. I'm just saying, remember there was a period right after the election where we were like, hey, RFK is going to do some shit with vaccines and all that, and it's probably not going to be good. But maybe, just maybe, we'll get some good stuff out of it food wise, like food and health. Maybe and I feel like we're not getting the good stuff at all. We're getting the bad stuff and none of the good stuff. So
Yeah, I agree. I haven't heard anything about eating healthier and like trying to get, shit chemicals out of our foods.
I'm gonna say there. I'm gonna look into it because there's a chance maybe he's talking about that a lot, but that's not fun and sexy to talk about. So like we're not seeing those clips aren't making it to the interweb is what I'm
But
thinking.
you can talk about whatever you want, but you're not doing anything.
That's true.
If you're like, why don't you write a bill to give it to the House that gets rid of, you know, riboflavin or whatever. I don't know what riboflavin is, but whatever's like really bad for
Well, that's what
Americans.
like that doctor that I love, Dr. Jessica Knurek. She's been doing videos where like, so he replaced like doing French fries in oil, and instead we're doing it in like beef tallow or something like that. And it's like, okay, you're subbing out one thing that's bad for you for another thing that's bad for you. Like frying everything in beef tallow isn't necessarily good for the cardi or your heart, maybe something along those lines. I'm not a doctor, but also like, oh, we got Coca-Cola to use real sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup. Guess what? High sugar and or high fructose corn syrup and sugar are both bad for you. We should be telling people not to drink Coca-Cola, and instead we're saying, hey, make sure you buy the real sugar Coke instead of the high fructose one. No, how about stop drinking soda? It's poison. It's bad for you. Sugar is bad, and it's going to cause diabetes. But no, like his wins are kind of not good for America still. Like, yay, more places are using real sugar. Well, how about we try to use less sugar? How about that?
And I honestly, I think that he has the power to like approve and disapprove like certain things. And he approved, I remember this in the beginning, because he's been a big PFAS guy, right? He's been anti-PFAS, but he allowed Monsanto to use some kind of crazy fertilizer chemical. And he also allowed Bill Gates. Now all of our fruits and vegetables are covered in like a plastic, like a thin layer of some kind of plastic to make them last longer, and it's filled with PFAS.
So he indirectly allows it. So like the FDA is in charge of food stuff. The FDA is under the umbrella of what is he? HHS health? Yeah, HHS. So he is in charge of HHS, and then there's a guy leading the FDA that's underneath him. Same with there's a guy leading the EPA underneath. So now he at any point could pull that guy in and be like, hey, what the heck? Like, why are we doing that? You know, so but technically, with all those things, you could probably technically say, well, no, he didn't sign off on that. So and so signed off on that. Well, that person works for him. So anyhow.
So instead of actually like making things better, healthier for us, he's making things worse for us.
Yeah, when Trump undid the PFAS ban, right? Like that was in the first couple of weeks of his presidency. It's like, whoa, Maha's gonna lose their shit about this, right? And then they didn't. It was just like, where are we at, Maha? Like I've been hearing about the chemicals for a while now, and y'all don't have anything to say. Yeah. So
what a nightmare.
It is. I only have one last thing, and this was a late edition, but it's kind of funny. James Tallarico, the Texas congressman that's running for Senate. You're familiar with him, right? Went
Oh
on
yeah.
Rogan. Everybody seems to like him. The right tried to create a big scandal this week where it turns out, like on his social media, his Instagram and his Twitter or whatever, none of it's private, so you can see who he's following. And he is following several adult film actresses and OnlyFans stars. And
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, like he's supposed to be some like Christian minister or whatever. So his excuse is, I have a social media team, and anyone that follows me, we follow back. We're constantly trying to engage, blah blah blah. He's like, I'm never on my Instagram. Like I have a team running that, and like we try to engage with everybody we can. And just because somebody does adult film work doesn't mean they're any less of a person than anybody else. So he had a decent kind of response to it, but it's funny because like I've seen a lot of people that are like, this makes me like Tallarico even more. Just like, I don't think that's the backfire that it once was. Like, especially on the Democratic side. If it was a Republican, it might hurt him. But I don't know how many people are like, yes, I'm a Democrat, and we got James Tallarico, and then you find out that he's following an OnlyFans girl, and you're like, rah, I can't vote for him now. I don't see that happening.
No, not on the Democrat, not even on the Republican side. Remember Trump? Trump cheated on his wife when she had just had a baby with a porn star.
Yeah. And Ted Cruz had that whole thing where he liked the adult film actress's name was Corey Chase, but he liked one of her videos, and then she ran with it. She was reposting
Like
it.
actual video.
It was on Twitter, and I think it was like a snippet, like a 1 minute clip from one of her videos, and he liked it, and he blamed it
like a porn scene.
Yeah. He blamed it on one of his communications guys that runs, which I gotta say, so it's fun to make fun of Ted Cruz for that, but also like Gavin Newsom, his Twitter account that's always lighting into Trump. Like, do you think Gavin's going on and tweeting any of that? No. Any of these congressmen, senators that are on Twitter, I think Trump's the only person, and I don't think Trump's typing it, but I think Trump is dictating it. He's saying it out loud, and somebody's sitting there typing what he's saying.
Yeah, we've seen videos of that.
Yeah. Other than Trump, I think that they do dictate some of their tweets. I think every now and then a senator walks in and says, "Hey, I want to make a tweet about this. Here's what I wanted to say," and they probably do some rough drafts and some editing, get it right, and then they put it out there as a team. I don't think any of them are just going online late at night and tweeting at people. Maybe I'm wrong. There probably are a few.
I think you're wrong. I think like Marjorie Taylor Greene puts out her own tweets. Yeah, I think Trump does for sure.
Would you agree that's a small minority of all the elected officials?
Yeah, I think most of them are serious in their job and their position. But if you're not serious in your job and your position, you're going out and tweeting Jewish space laser stuff.
Yes.
At 2 in the morning.
So I don't know. I gotta say, I still like Tallarico, and it doesn't bother me any. But I totally do believe that he's like, I have a team of young kids running my social media, and we have a policy where we follow back everybody, or whatever it may be. And also, if it doesn't seem very Christ-like to be like, well, we follow everybody back unless you're an impure person and you do adult film or whatever it may be. That's not very Christ-like.
Sure.
If I remember parts of the Bible correctly, Christ was hanging out with prostitutes and preaching to them. Am I wrong on that?
His best friend was a prostitute, apparently.
So then go Tallarico. He's doing the
gospel. Go Tallarico and Ted Cruz.
Yeah,
more power to you, Teddy.
I hate to say that. Go Ted Cruz. Okay, yeah. All right, that's all I got. Did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I got a couple things.
I know you got one. Okay, go for it.
Well, first of all, I want to say I was wrong.
Okay.
What's it called? LS1 or the spaceship?
Oh, Three-Eye Atlas.
3-Eye Atlas. Yeah, 3-Eye Atlas. That's right.
Oh, wait.
I was wrong. They sent out some signal and it came back, and they're saying that it's all made out of rock. So
almost exactly what I told you last time, right?
I was wrong. I was totally convinced that it was a spaceship coming to save our planet from the Orange Man.
What the best part about this though is that our attention span as humans or as Americans, I'm not sure which one, is so crap. Like I mentioned last time, the drones. For a month, we were all like, look at these drones, what's going on? And then like within 2 weeks of it, when it stopped, like for 2 weeks, we kind of thought about it. And then after that, like Nobody's even thought about the drones ever since.
That's true.
For the last 2 or 3 weeks, there is a big portion of people online that are freaking out about this 3i Atlas, and it's a spaceship, and then they're showing pictures and telling you why it's definitely a spaceship. And now we're gonna find out it's not a spaceship, and it's all just gonna go away, and we're just gonna move on. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that
I
it
mean, they're
turned
still
out.
going to follow it. There's still scientists out there going to chase it and follow it. And,
Oh, I'm sure there's very interesting. It came from a different solar system. Like that's worth looking at. Let's study the heck at it.
when are we going to start mining asteroids? I kept hearing about this. Like Elon Musk was talking about this a long time ago.
Yeah, well, Elon talks about. I don't know if we mentioned this on our show, but Elon, when he was on Rogan like a week ago, was talking about like the next model of car to come out is going to be the Roadster, and then the one after that is going to be able to fly. And Rogan's like, fly? And he's like, yeah, it's going to have wings. And like, here's the thing. If you go back to like 2012, 14, somewhere in that range, Elon makes big promises constantly. And like he has said in the last 10 years, he has said multiple times that we're going to be on Mars within 5 years. And it just never happens. And then he says we're going to be able to fully do this within this many years. He says a lot of shit that never happens. He's a great inventor. He's done things that are going to just revolutionize how the humans do things. He's done a lot of great things. He also makes some ridiculous promises that there's no way he's going to keep. Mining an asteroid is one of those things. Like I think that eventually one day we're going to try to do that. I don't think we're anywhere close. Remember the movie Armageddon?
Yeah.
Remember they flew some spaceships up and then came around behind it and flew up behind, landed on it. That's awesome for a movie. I don't believe that we are anywhere near that. And even if we could, then we'd have to like take a load back to Earth. I mean, do we have shuttles going back and forth?
Yeah.
The comet, I don't know how fast the comet's moving, but I'll bet if we look it up, it's ridiculously fast. That thing ain't cruising by with the windows down. Like it's flooring it, landing on it, and then mining it, and then bringing shit back from it. We have a while till we're actually going to do that. Is all I'm going to say.
Dang it. Speaking of the Mars thing, that really pisses me off.
Yeah.
How much money is he spending trying to get to Mars, to a planet that is inhospitable to us?
Okay.
It would suck to live on Mars. Completely and utterly suck.
Real quick, let's be real precise with what we're saying. How much money is he spending?
Or well, he's getting subsidies from our government.
Okay, how much money are we spending? That's what all that money for SpaceX, not all of it, but a vast majority of it is government subsidized. So our tax dollars are funding him trying to get us to Mars, which has no atmosphere. And he said recently that if we were going to have a colony on Mars, it would probably be underground. And it's like, oh, that sounds awesome. I can't wait to go live underground on Mars. Like,
yeah, and it's like chill. It's really cold there. Yeah, horrible idea. If you took all that money that he's spending trying to get to Mars and just put it into our planet, fixing up our planet and making our planet a better place, we would be in so much better place. We have a planet, a livable planet, a good planet. Let's make it better.
Let's just say America first. Just put that money into America. You could solve the hunger crisis, the housing crisis. You could probably make a huge dent in homelessness, whatever it is. But no, instead, let's keep trying to go to Mars.
Well, our oceans are dying.
Yeah,
right now.
There's a lot we could do.
Yeah. Let's fix up the oceans.
Again, but I want to make it clear, though, I'm not trying to take away. Elon has done really awesome things. Everything he's done, and you can definitely make the argument that, well, he didn't invent Tesla. And this, okay, but because of him, electric vehicles are a bigger thing today than they would have been without him, is what I'm basically trying to say. He gets credit for that. He gets credit for that.
Yeah, he promoted electric vehicles.
He did a good job.
I'll give him that.
He got Republicans.
What else?
He got Republicans to want to drive electric vehicles. Do you know how many MAGA people I know in Oklahoma that are driving Teslas right now?
Really?
Dude, a lot. One of my neighbors just bought 2 of them within a month of each other. Like, it was ridiculous. What? He bought one for his wife and then bought one for his daughter, like right after, because they love the first one so much. Like, and
I've heard they're pieces of shit.
Oh, I've heard that too. But they love Trump, and they very much jumped on the Elon train when Elon was on his side, and they ended up buying 2 Teslas. So, yeah. Even one of the guys that I work football games for the local high school, and one of the guys I do it with is like one of the, like, he's a manly man. He's more of a man than I'll ever be. We're probably the same age, but I want to call him sir because he's just a manly man. And just
Okay.
within the past month, he was like, "Yeah, I traded in my truck and got a Tesla." And I was like, "You got a Cybertruck?" And he's like, "No, no, I got the car." And like just picturing him driving around in like the Model Y or whatever is so weird for me to try to picture. But he fucking loves his Tesla and he loves Trump and he loves Elon. So
Definitely not a manly man's car.
I know, but he's a manly man and he's driving like the small Tesla car. So
Does he have like pink dice hanging on his rearview mirror?
if he doesn't, I'm gonna get those for him. So
You should. I
anyhow,
got you something for your car,
yep.
bro.
What else you got?
Did you see that Trump made some new pardons the other night?
He pardoned what, 70 people?
77 people he
Okay.
pardoned.
Now you know that that pardon means nothing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think from a lot of them.
For almost, I think all of them. There's no federal charges against any of these people.
Okay.
Trump can only pardon people from federal charges. He does not have the power to pardon people from state charges.
Right.
There's people in Arizona that are being prosecuted for the fake elector scheme. Those are
Mhm.
state charges. Georgia, I think that whole prosecution fell apart because Fannie Willis was sleeping with one of the other lawyers or something. I don't remember how that all happened, but like every one of the where people are actually getting in trouble for the fake elector scheme is state charges. Trump does not have the power to pardon anybody from state charges. So
So are
that,
these like future pardons then?
I honestly couldn't tell you. The Biden DOJ never tried to do like federal charges on any of these people. I take that back. Jack Smith, his uh, insurrection case that was happening in Washington D.C. There were
Mhm.
some co-defendants, and we never really knew who those were for sure. We assumed it was Rudy Giuliani and some other people, but we never knew for sure, and that never got to trial. But
Okay.
if a Democrat wins in 2028, I would bet the statute of limitations is it's going to be 9 years or 8 years, I guess, at that point. So, but if the statute of limitations are not done, then technically you could say, well, they were pardoned, so the next DOJ can't go after them. Or since the Republicans have just decided that all of Biden's pardons are void because Biden was losing his mind, I guess, in the auto pen.
Auto
Hey,
pen, yeah.
that's fair game now, so we can just say that all of Trump's pardons were void too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So in this list, there's Rudy Giuliani, uh, uh, Eastman, Mark Meadows, Sidney Powell, who's the craziest. Like,
yeah.
why is he and Jenna Ellis?
What's funny about Jenna Ellis is Jenna Ellis was the one person to turn on him during all that. She basically came into court in Georgia and admitted that what she did was wrong and she was tricked by Trump into doing it. And she
Mm.
totally turned on Trump and she got a very light prison sentence. And Trump tweeted nasty things about her and how much he hated her. But then somehow she made it onto this list. I think that somebody wasn't paying attention when they were putting this list together because they should have left Jenna Ellis off. But anyhow, nobody's noticed it yet. I saw her name on there and I was like, whoa, like she.
Trump takes it back. He's like, I didn't mean to partner her.
I honestly, when I saw her name on the list, I was expecting a Trump tweet about it within the next day or two, and it hasn't happened yet. So also,
In that interview that he did with 60 Minutes, he was talking. They were asked him about CZ, the guy
yeah,
who helped the Trump boys create their crypto
he goes,
business.
listen,
And
are you ready?
are you ready?
I don't even know him. It's like
I don't even
that
know.
doesn't.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
That doesn't help you at all. Like that makes it worse, honestly.
Yeah.
So okay,
You're
wait,
just partying random people.
real quick on Jenna Ellis also. When I saw that her name was on the list, I thought Trump was going to do something. He didn't. So like a day later, I went and checked her Twitter, and like that morning, the day after she got the pardon, they were showing. I don't know if you've seen the little walkway between like the Oval Office and the residence that's outside. Trump has been putting gold up everywhere, and now in gold it says like the Presidential Walk of Fame or something like that. And she quote tweeted a picture of that and said, "Personally, I hate this. I think it looks like crap." And I'm like, he just pardoned you and you're shitting on his design? Like, it's making me kind of like Jenna Ellis. I'm not gonna lie, she's
Can
crazy.
you take a
but-
pardon back?
yeah, so anyhow, she's not trying to keep the pardon, I'm just gonna say, but sorry, continue.
The last thing I have is, and I know you saw all this, Trump getting booed.
Yeah, I have thoughts on it. Tell me your thoughts.
So at first, I was listening to what Trump was saying, and it sounded like he was trying to make the whole crowd take a pledge.
So no, he was swearing in it was Veterans
Army?
Day. Yeah, it was Veterans Day, and there were people on the field that he was swearing in. He's up in the box, they're down on the field, and he's swearing them in front of a crowd of 70,000 people.
He couldn't go down to the field. He couldn't be bothered.
I'll bet it would be a security risk. I don't know. I would bet that they probably like him in the box, and I'll bet that box had bulletproof glass and all that.
Probably.
But here's what I'll say about that. He definitely got booed by, I'm going to say, half the people at least. Okay. I also did see, I think it depends on where you were sitting, because I saw other videos where the cheers seemed louder than the boos. In fact, in all the videos where there's booing happening, if you just look at people all around, don't listen, just look, you'll see that about half of the people are giving him the finger, and there's about half of the people that are clapping for him. So it was a combination of boos and cheers. I think the boos slightly outweighed the cheers, but it wasn't. If there were 70,000 people in that stadium, it's not like all 70,000 were booing him. Let's say 40,000 were booing him and 30,000 weren't. It was something like that.
The boos definitely outweighed the cheers.
Yeah, and like I said, I was
in a strong thing. And you mentioned that because I mentioned to you last night, and you're like, it depends on what section you're in. And so I went and I looked at different. I found like 4 different sections, 4 different angles of the stadium, and it was all loud booing. I didn't see a lot of cheering.
There were more boos than there were cheers, but there were cheers. All I'm going to say. And like I said, next time you see one, mute it and just look at the reaction of people around. Like I said, you'll see a lot of people applauding president, and you'll see a lot of people giving the finger.
Did you see his face when?
Hegseth looked uncomfortable. Hegseth. Yeah. That's the fun. Next time you see it, look at Hegseth more than you do Trump, because Hegseth was like, oh shit, like.
Yeah, well, he was looking around like he was eyeballing people, like, yeah, I'm gonna arrest you later, and I'm gonna arrest you later. And he was like looking like pretty mad about it.
It was a bad decision to go there, because in his mind he's like, okay, when I go to the UFC, people love me. I get good cheers at UFC. That's my crowd. He thought that also applied to football, which I'll bet most middle-aged white men that like watching football, I bet he carries a lot of them, maybe more than half. But he did it in Washington D.C., Virginia area. Most of those, like everybody at that game that lives in that area, knows somebody that works for the federal government, has either been laid off or has been RIF'd or is furloughed right now because of the shutdown, or is not liking the way things are going, whatever job they have. And if they don't work for the government directly, they're contracted by the government or whatever. That whole area, their whole economy runs off the government. So that's not where his bread and butter is. Like, he needs to go to I don't know what state. If there's a football team in Montana,
we went to Alabama football game. He got a good welcome.
Huge cheer, yeah. Because so, like I said, it just in his mind he was like, oh, football, this is good. They're gonna like me. Yeah. And it's like, no, you're in Virginia. Nobody in Virginia likes you right now. Like, those people are very upset about the shutdown. They're not fans.
Do you think he's changing his mind about changing the stadium name to Trump Stadium?
I hate that so much. I don't think it First of all, the fact that he asked them to do that is
insane.
It's like, what's the right word for that? There's like a mental, like, is that narcissism or like, I can't.
It's definitely a symptom of narcissism.
Yeah. You know what? It'd be great is if you named your stadium after me. Well, who says that? I don't know. Not gonna happen, but
no. But it's crazy that he actually made that request.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I don't know why, but of all the weird things he does, like little things like that, like make me hate him the most. And like that, just the balls of anybody to be like, hey, you should name this after me. Like,
yeah, you should name your child after me.
For real. Like, who says? Yep. So, good old Trump. So, by the way,
Trump.
While we've been recording, this is Monday night, and about 20 minutes ago, I did see a breaking news: the Senate officially passed the bill.
Okay.
So I don't know if the hemp thing made it into there or not. Like, that's what they've been debating over the last little bit. So at some point here, we'll figure out what all was in the minibus continuing resolution. But we're going to have basically a day of nothing tomorrow, and then Wednesday it goes to the House. If they agree on it and vote on it, then it goes to Trump. So the government could be open by Thursday, I'm going to guess. Maybe Wednesday afternoon. So, and then Grijalva sworn in sometime Wednesday, signs the petition, maybe some Epstein files.
I destroyed them.
Well, and also what everybody's failing to think about here is that okay, let's say that she signs on as the 218th vote, then it goes to the floor, and now Congress has to vote on it. It'll pass by 2 or 3 votes, maybe, and then that's Congress has now passed a thing saying that the White House and the DOJ have to give them all this. Trump can easily tell them to screw off. Like that's where this is headed. Is they're going to say, "Up, we passed a thing. You have to give it to us," and Trump's going to say no. And then who's going to do anything about that? Like they have no power to do anything about that. So that's they're going to hold.
Oh,
They're going to hold Pam Bondi in contempt of Congress. Good luck. Like nothing's going to happen.
yeah.
What'll be good is it'll show America that oh my God, look how hard they're trying to hide the Epstein files. Like that.
Yeah.
That's what it'll do. But we're not going to get. It's not like they're going to go up. Congress voted. Give them everything. Like that's not going to happen.
But the problem is Fox News isn't even going to cover that at all.
Probably
And
not.
and then nobody's going to know. The people who need to know aren't going to know.
I think you're right. So
Yeah, we live in crazy times, bro.
okay, let's see how this week plays out then. So, all right, anything else for you?
Nah, man. Have a good night.
All right, talk to you soon, buddy. Later.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.